The story that Downing Street hoped you would never hear is breaking wide open tonight. A secret CCTV leak has sent shockwaves through Westminster, and at the heart of it all is Sir Keir Starmer, his powerful ally Lord Ali, and a furious reaction from Starmer's own wife. What Jim Davidson first hinted at in hushed tones has now exploded into the public eye, leaving Labour scrambling to contain the damage. But the harder they try to shut it down, the more people are asking, what are they hiding, and why does it feel like this scandal is only just beginning? For weeks, whispers have circled about strange late-night meetings inside Lord Ali's $18 million penthouse. Critics said it was just gossip, the sort of Westminster chatter that never amounts to anything. But then came the bombshell. CCTV footage, once thought to be locked away, has reportedly leaked into private hands. According to multiple sources, those images confirm that something happened inside that luxury flat, something that has now caused a personal earthquake for Keir Starmer and his family. The footage, described by insiders as deeply compromising, allegedly shows private encounters between Starmer and Lord Ali that raise serious questions about influence, money, and political loyalty. Even more explosive is what followed. Comedian Jim Davidson, already under fire for refusing to back down on his earlier claims, is said to have seen portions of the tape. And his reaction, he told associates that the content made him physically sick. When Davidson went public with hints about what he saw, the rumors exploded across social media. For Labour, this wasn't just embarrassing, it was catastrophic. What really shook Westminster, however, was not just what the cameras captured, but how it affected Starmer's own wife. Victoria Starmer, once a quiet figure in the background of Labour's rise, is now at the center of the storm. Reports claim that after being shown a clip linked to the leak, she stormed out of their home in tears. She has since been spotted meeting divorce lawyers and has not been seen alongside her husband at any public event. That silence speaks louder than words, and it is fueling speculation that the marriage itself is collapsing under the weight of scandal. Starmer's team insists this is nonsense, a smear campaign driven by political enemies. They've issued cease and desist letters, pressured social media platforms, and even tried to lean on journalists to kill the story. But in the age of leaks, censorship doesn't erase suspicion, it multiplies it. Every attempt to bury the CCTV story only convinces more people that there's truth behind it. And that's why this scandal is gaining momentum. It isn't just about one tape, one donor, or one rumor. It's about whether Britain's would-be Prime Minister is living a double life and whether the public deserves to know the truth. Inside Parliament, whispers are turning into shouts. One Labour MP privately described the situation as a slow-motion car crash, warning colleagues that if they don't deal with it now, it could destroy the party's credibility before the next election. Another suggested that Starmer himself may have to be sacrificed, not because of policy disagreements, but because the public cannot forgive dishonesty at the highest level. And still, no one knows how much more footage is out there or who else has seen it. The unanswered questions pile higher every day. Why was Starmer spending so much time at Lord Ali's penthouse? Why has his wife gone silent? And why has she reportedly left the family home? Why are tech companies being threatened with legal action to wipe mentions of the story? And perhaps most chilling of all, if Jim Davidson, of all people, has already broken ranks to reveal what he claims to know, how long before others in Westminster decide to do the same? This isn't just a scandal about clothes or gifts or donor hospitality anymore. This is about trust, about power, and about a prime minister in waiting whose private life may be his biggest liability. With every new detail that slips into the public domain, the walls close in tighter around Starmer and his team. And if Victoria Starmer's storming departure is any clue, the story may soon move from political intrigue to personal catastrophe. The leaked CCTV story has thrown the Labour Party into chaos, and the cracks are widening by the day. What started as whispered speculation now feels like a full-blown credibility crisis, with even loyal insiders struggling to defend their leader. Behind closed doors, the mood is one of panic. Multiple reports suggest that senior figures within labor are holding emergency meetings, desperate to find a way to contain the fallout. Some argue the best course is to deny everything outright, to brand the footage a fabrication and dismiss Jim Davidson as a washed-up entertainer chasing headlines. But others aren't so sure. They've seen how fast this narrative has spread online, how hashtags about Starmer's penthouse secrets have trended worldwide, and they know too well that simply calling it lies won't make the suspicion vanish. For every official denial, there are whispers of, "Just wait, more is coming." That fear is eating away at the party's confidence. Even worse, whispers from Westminster claim that Davidson isn't the only one who's had access to the leaked footage. According to several insiders, clips are already circulating in private groups, shared among journalists, lobbyists, and donors. And while the public hasn't seen them yet, it's only a matter of time before someone breaks ranks and posts them. Once that happens, no amount of legal threats will be able to put the genie back in the bottle. Victoria Starmer's dramatic storming out of the family home has only intensified the scandal. Her absence from public events is glaring, and people are asking what she saw that made her walk away. Reports claim she confronted her husband after learning that Davidson had spoken publicly about the tape, demanding answers that Starmer couldn't, or wouldn't, give. Within days, she was gone, spotted entering a solicitor's office in London that specializes in high-profile divorces. If true, that means this story has moved beyond mere political theater. It has pierced the heart of Starmer's private life, threatening not just his career, but his marriage. And voters notice these things. They see a leader under pressure at home, fighting fires in his own household, and they start to wonder whether he can really be trusted to lead a nation. It's the kind of personal drama that makes headlines for weeks, because people instinctively understand that no man can project strength in public while battling betrayal in private. But the deeper problem for labor is the growing suspicion that this isn't just about one man's mistakes, it's about a culture of privilege, secrecy, and entitlement. The footage is rumored to show late-night visitors slipping in and out of the penthouse, meetings held behind closed doors, and exchanges that raise troubling questions about influence and loyalty. If these rumors are true, then the scandal is not simply about Starmer and Lord Ali. It's about whether Britain's political system has once again been captured by money, favors, and shadowy backroom deals. The Tories were once hounded for partying during lockdown, accused of mocking the rules they forced onto the public. Now it looks like Labour's own leadership might be guilty of something just as corrosive, using wealth and secrecy to shield themselves from scrutiny. People hate that hypocrisy, and they don't forget it. The media silence has also added fuel to the fire. Viewers switching on Channel 4 or the BBC expecting answers instead see carefully scripted segments that avoid the story altogether. For ordinary people, that looks less like journalism and more like complicity. "Why aren't they covering this?" has become a rallying cry online, as thousands accuse broadcasters of protecting the political elite. Some even claim that orders have come from the very top to keep the footage out of the headlines, an allegation that, whether true or not, feeds the public sense that something dark is being hidden. And when people feel the media is keeping secrets, they turn to alternative voices. That's why figures like Jim Davidson suddenly carry so much weight. Whether loved or hated, he has spoken openly, while mainstream outlets keep their mouths shut. In politics, perception matters more than fact. And right now the perception is that Davidson is telling uncomfortable truths, while the establishment scrambles to cover them up. Inside Labour's headquarters, the mood is close to despair. Some MPs are reportedly drafting letters demanding clarity from their leader, while others are already speculating about possible successors. They worry that if this story breaks wide open during an election campaign, it could sink the party before it even has a chance to fight. Starmer was once sold to the public as the clean alternative to Tory chaos, the man who would restore integrity to politics. But if the leaked CCTV proves even part of the rumors true, He risks being remembered instead as just another politician who thought the rules didn't apply to him. The more this scandal unfolds, the more it begins to feel like a ticking time bomb under Keir Starmer's leadership. Every day, new whispers surface, fresh details emerge, and the sense of something bigger lurking beneath the surface only grows stronger. Labor supporters who once defended their leader fiercely are now uneasy, speaking in hushed tones about what comes next. Even within Westminster, where gossip is constant, there's a different kind of tension, an unspoken understanding that this story isn't like the others. This isn't about an awkward policy U-turn or a slip of the tongue at a press conference. This is about trust, family, and the raw, undeniable evidence of CCTV footage that insiders claim is too explosive to ignore. The very idea that Davidson, a comedian once dismissed by the establishment, may be the one dragging these secrets into daylight only adds to the drama. For years, Davidson was seen as an outsider, someone the political class mocked. Now, that same outsider has set Westminster on fire with a bombshell no one knows how to defuse. Victoria Starmer's disappearance from public view remains one of the most damaging aspects of this entire saga. People are asking, if there's truly nothing to hide, why has the Prime Minister's wife vanished from the spotlight? Her storming departure after reportedly being shown a clip of the leaked CCTV has created an image that no spin doctor can erase. A wife betrayed, leaving in tears, while her husband insists to the world that everything is fine. It doesn't add up, and that contradiction is fueling the public's anger. Social media has erupted with speculation about what exactly Victoria saw, with hashtags like Penthouse Secrets and Starmer's Double Life racking up millions of views. In the age of digital information, perception can destroy a reputation faster than fact. And right now, the perception is brutal. People see a leader who is hiding something so serious that even his own wife couldn't stand by him. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, labor officials are struggling to manage the fallout. Senior advisors are said to be working around the clock, drafting legal threats, scrubbing mentions of the CCTV leak online, and reaching out to sympathetic journalists to keep the story buried. But these tactics are beginning to backfire. When news vanishes mysteriously from platforms, people notice. When questions go unanswered in interviews, people grow suspicious. And when high-profile figures like Davidson openly defy the threats and double down on their claims, people start asking why the establishment seems so desperate to silence him. The harder labor pushes, the more it looks like they're running scared. The revelations have also reignited questions about the party's cozy relationship with Lord Ali. Critics say the penthouse isn't just a setting for luxury sleepovers or exam revision excuses, it's a symbol of everything wrong with modern politics. An $18 million flat at the center of Westminster intrigue, where donors, politicians, and late-night visitors come and go under the cover of darkness. If the CCTV is real, then the penthouse itself becomes more than just a backdrop. It becomes the smoking gun, a location now forever associated with secrecy, scandal, and betrayal. Labor can insist all they want that nothing inappropriate happened, but the public isn't buying it. They've seen this playbook before: deny, deflect, distract, until the truth eventually leaks out. In the middle of this chaos stands Starmer himself, trying desperately to project control. But even his public appearances betray the strain. Commentators have noted his stiff body language, his forced smiles, his curt responses whenever the scandal is mentioned. He looks less like a confident leader in waiting and more like a man fighting to keep his world from collapsing. And perhaps that's because he knows what's still to come. Sources close to the matter have hinted that the leaked footage isn't just a single clip, it's a series of recordings. If true, then what the public has heard so far is only the beginning. Each new revelation could drag Starmer deeper into the quicksand, with no escape route in sight. And then comes the question nobody in Westminster wants to say out loud: what if the leak goes international? British politics may seem insular, but in the age of instant global media, one viral video can cross borders in seconds. If foreign outlets pick up the footage, if international headlines start screaming about Britain's compromised leader, the fallout could be devastating not just for Labour, but for the country's reputation as a whole. Starmer has built his image on being a steady hand, a man of integrity in contrast to his predecessors. But if he is exposed as living a double life, beholden to wealthy donors and mired in scandal, his credibility on the world stage would be shattered overnight. As the scandal reaches boiling point, the question is no longer whether Keir Starmer can survive the rumors, it's whether he can survive the truth. The CCTV leak has already shattered the image of control Labour tried so hard to build, and Victoria Starmer's storming departure has made the drama impossible to ignore. In politics, perception is everything, and the perception now is of a man cornered, a leader who preaches integrity but lives by a different set of rules. The public has seen this story before with the Tories: privilege, cover-ups, and a smug assumption that accountability is for everyone else. And when voters sense hypocrisy, their anger is merciless. The silence from major broadcasters has only deepened the fury, as millions believe a deliberate effort is underway to shield the Labour leader from exposure. Social media is alive with questions that mainstream journalists refuse to ask, and each unanswered question makes the scandal more toxic. The story is no longer just about a penthouse, or a donor, or a set of gifts. It has become a test of whether the political system itself is rotten and whether truth can still break through the walls of power. The impact on Starmer personally is devastating. Those close to him describe a man under siege, lashing out at aides, snapping at colleagues, and clinging to legal threats as his only defense. The Victoria factor looms over everything. A wife storming off in fury is not just gossip, it is a public humiliation, one that ordinary people instinctively understand. If she cannot forgive him, if she chooses to walk away, then voters will assume the worst. And once that assumption takes hold, no speech, no policy, no carefully staged photo op will restore trust. In politics, trust once broken is almost impossible to repair. Starmer knows this, and so do his enemies, both inside and outside his party. Already, rivals are circling, whispering about leadership contests, floating names of possible replacements, preparing for the possibility that Labour's biggest liability is the man who was meant to lead them to victory. Meanwhile, Jim Davidson refuses to back down. The comedian mocked by the establishment is now the unlikely figure haunting Starmer's every step. His bombshell claims about the CCTV footage may have been dismissed at first, but the longer this scandal drags on, the more weight his words carry. Davidson insists that what he saw was sickening, and he has hinted that others have copies too. If even part of that is true, then Labour's frantic denials are little more than a delaying tactic. The truth always finds a way out, and Davidson knows he holds the kind of leverage that terrifies politicians. Credibility born not from power or position, but from refusing to be silenced. The more Labour threatens him, the louder he becomes, and the public notices. This scandal has also exposed the uncomfortable truth about Lord Ali's role. For years, he has been the shadowy benefactor, the donor with the penthouse, the man behind the luxury gifts. But now his name is synonymous with suspicion. People no longer see him as just a wealthy supporter. They see him as the thread running through every questionable detail: the gifts, the flat, the visitors, and the CCTV leak. And with each passing day, the question grows louder. Why is one man so central to the life of Britain's Prime Minister-in-waiting? Is this friendship, or something far more dangerous? The idea that Starmer could be beholden to a single billionaire donor undermines everything Labour claims to stand for. A party built on fighting privilege cannot afford a leader who seems to be swimming in it. The final blow may not even come from Davidson or from Labour's rivals, but from the footage itself. For now, it remains hidden, whispered about but unseen. But leaks have a way of surfacing, and if those clips reach the public domain, no amount of damage control will save Starmer. The moment the footage becomes visible, speculation will end, and judgment will begin. And the public's judgment is often swift and unforgiving. A leader exposed as dishonest, compromised, and hypocritical cannot lead with authority. Instead, he becomes a liability, dragging down everyone around him. That is Labor's nightmare, and that is why whispers of replacing Starmer are now louder than ever. In the end, this is not just a story about scandal. It is a story about power, secrecy, and the illusion of integrity. Keir Starmer promised to be different from those who came before him, to hold others accountable and clean up politics. But now, facing questions about donors, penthouses, and leaked CCTV, he looks no different at all. Just another politician living by double standards. And as his wife storms off, as his party panics, and as the rumors refuse to die, one truth is becoming harder to ignore. The real danger to Labour is not the footage, not Davidson, not even Lord Ali. The real danger is Keir Starmer himself.